Matt, Hendricks is listening, and Kelly and Scott not to guide the interview, but I'm sure you're thinking of this with the Nashville. I can remember the scene, Matt, where you were going off with David Legwand, who's now in Detroit and doing well, and you're coming over to make an impact on the Edmonton Oilers. For me, the moment of this whole evening was Scrivens. I'm with you, Elliot. When Scrivens threw the sweater back, that's kind of a neat moment, and I thought of Ben watching James Reimer have to try and gut it out tonight earlier in the Air Canada Centre. Roy Halladay, the Blue Jays pitcher, when asked what the greatest game of his career, his storied career, he said it was an 8-7 win with the Blue Jays, a night where he didn't have his best stuff, and he fought for everything and got a victory out of that. So, Matt, you might remember Nashville and just tempers on the bench and explosions and a night like we just had at Rexall Place. We'll send it out to Scott. Maybe you can start there, Scott.
Okay, Ron. Yeah, Matt, do you want to respond to that?
Yeah, tempers flare. We're competitive athletes. We're it's our nature to get angry. It's our nature to be upset, especially when things are going the way they went tonight. But as athletes, we need to control that. We need to harness that in a better way.
There's no denying, Matt, that you have brought something special to the Oilers, and that may sound like a bit of a stretch given what happened tonight, but it's true. Now, we're not going to turn this into an autopsy because the game's already been analyzed 8 ways to Sunday by the guys in Studio 42, and we heard from Dallas Eakins and Taylor Hall, but we have to ask a couple of questions about it. Start with, how did it all go south in a 4-minute period in the second frame?
Yeah, it's a tough loss. We've been playing pretty good hockey. We like the games that we've been playing. We think we're showing up with attitude every night. We're showing up with that commitment level, and tonight it went south in a hurry. I think we got down. We started cheating a little bit in this game's this is an honest game, and when you start to cheat, it's funny how the results really end up kicking you in the rear end.
Matt, I was on a pretty good LA team one time, and we're at home, and we got smoked by Washington 10-0 at home, and it still stings to this day. How do you get over it?
Yeah, that's you don't forget those. No. You know, I don't remember having one of these in a while. Yeah. It's a tough pill to swallow, but you know, we're building here. That's our goal right now. We talk about a young team. This is a lesson that you need to learn. You know, I'm learning a lesson right now, being on the panel with you guys, talking, being a pro, having to deal with this after a tough loss. It's a lesson. Every night, every day is a lesson, and we hopefully we need to learn from it and come back to work, you know, with our boots on Monday.
Here's a tweet from Jasper Granger, who is from Minnesota, your home state, and this question may produce a different answer than before, given what happened tonight. But he says, "What's the change in playing for Edmonton versus Nashville?"
Personally, I think
he's talking about markets here.
Oh, markets, outstanding fan base here. Nashville's got great fans, but you know the Oiler fans truly they bleed our colors, and it's the first time I put that jersey on, there was a lot of pride in that. To be able to look at that jersey, obviously growing up, I was born in '81. Right. I got to watch a lot of great Oilers teams, but I got to watch a lot of highlights too. So it's an honor for me to wear this sweater, and I take a lot of pride in that.
The Oilers were mired in the 6-game losing streak when you got here, and when you arrived, things turned around quickly. So that's obviously more than a coincidence. You're on our program tonight under, would have to say again, less than ideal circumstances, but Dallas Eakins has spent probably as much time talking about what you've been doing of late as he spent talking about Taylor Hall. This is all, of course, before tonight's game. So look past tonight's game and tell me what you make of all this.
You know, I think when I got here, obviously I've played against the Oilers. I've played against these kids, and there's a lot of talent in that room. And I think the biggest thing is harnessing that talent, playing hockey the right way. There's one way to play, and it's defense first. And that's kind of the coach's goal, is to get that message across. And I'm here to help relay it. We want to have an honest room where we believe and trust in each other, trust the guy sitting next to you. And when you play that way, when you play for the guy next to you, you play better. When you're not thinking about yourself, you're not thinking about goals and assists, you're not thinking about the outcome after. If you just work on harnessing and thinking about the guy next to you, playing for him, results seem to happen better, and they're better off in the long run.
You just said an honest room. So this morning, Dallas Eakins was talking to us in the media, and he's talking about you, and he said something like, you're the kind of guy that can go up to somebody and tell them the truth, even if they don't want to hear it, yet you'll go out for dinner with the guy later on. Has that always been your way of dealing with being in a leadership role? Did you learn that along the way?
You know, I learned. I definitely learned. I was fortunate to play for some great leaders throughout my career, but I think probably the best one was Adam Foote in Denver, Colorado, when I played at the Avalanche. And, you know, that was his biggest thing, was to have an honest room. And you have to have leaders, and you have to have followers, and for a team to be successful, you've got to be honest to each other. You've got to be able to look the guy in the eye next to you and say, you got to be better, or, hey, great job. But at the end of the day, we've got to be honest with each other.
I don't point out to the guys in the truck. I can't hear myself, and you guys probably can't either. I think the audio is okay going out, but it would help if we could hear ourselves. At some point, well, before we get to your career path, I want to ask you about blocking that Shea Weber shot here in the Nashville game. What was it like to get behind the full force of one of the hardest shots in the NHL, and what were the negative effects of it?
Yeah, well, it's funny because I got to practice against him a lot during the year this year, and I just asked him, please don't hit me with that thing. So when I ate it the other night, it wasn't too bad. It just felt like a real bad Charlie horse, but as time went on, it slowly kind of started shutting things down in my left leg and hip and back and stuff, so it got a little difficult to pick that leg up.
How do you time that? Because, you know, there's clearly the guy with the hardest shot in the National Hockey League, and you're putting yourself in harm's way.
I think it's just trying to be in position. You know, I learned a lot from Boyd Gordon, actually, talking with him about it. So, you know, it's a tough part of the game, but, you know, we take pride in that role.
At some point in your career, you had to make a decision that you were going to make it by blocking shots and fighting and, doing whatever it took. Perhaps your goal-scoring ability is overlooked. I would point to your 3 years in Washington. And the threat you were in the shootout. It was known as the paralyzer, as in paralyzing goaltenders. You would get the goaltender to commit, and boy, it was all over after that. In fact, you get the call in the shootout often before Alex Ovechkin. Where does this hypnotic move come from?
Kind of goes back to my high school days, playing for an ex-NHLer, Scott Bukestad.
I played with Scott.
I knew you did.
Yeah.
In LA there, yeah.
Awesome guy.
And, we worked on this move quite a bit. I was never very good at it, and I think just over time it started working. And
I hear Tim Thomas wants to kill you right
now. Those are some good memories, guys. Thanks for showing me.
Well, what is
feel
it?
A little better today.
I guess. Well, what is it with that fake? Because, I mean, as Scott said, that's Tim Thomas and some other pretty good goaltenders, and it looks like you sell it so well that, like, they're off balance all of a sudden.
Yeah. I'm giving away all my secrets now.
Okay.
No, I think the key is to get your stick to bend. Actually bending of the shaft, I think, is what gets goaltenders to really think you're going to shoot it. And, it took some practice, and I was fortunate to score some goals, and it was a lot of fun.
I guess.
I don't know if it works anymore after tonight.
Well, yeah.